Hey folks, Green Stuff Gav here. This week we've got a return to the tavern we're working on, and we're opening a box from Sally Forth of hopefully some occupants for the tavern. Now there's a plethora of 3D files you can get out there from a wide range of different companies, and there's a few random ones in here that I'll link to down below when I remember where I got them from. I don't have a 3D printer at the moment because mine died, but I use Sally Forth's system where you can upload STL files, they'll print it off and send it to you. So I thought we'd have a look, see what the tavern, I'm not sure how these guys will scale or what they'll look like or any of that, but I thought it'd be quite interesting to get obviously a whole load of patrons for the bar. So we will have a look and see exactly what I've ordered, because I can't remember. I just put a whole load of different figures in to the website. I can't remember what I paid. I think it's about 30 quid for all of these minis. So what have we got? So I ordered some benches for obviously everyone to sit on. These are just quite easy. They'd be just as easy to make with cocktail sticks or a bit of wood. That's easy enough, just a few of those. A guy comes in a chair, bit of support there, but that'll be easy to clean. Quite nondescript. So these are obviously NPCs, so they're not supposed to stand out or just be too interesting. Girl, lady with a bit of popcorn. So again, the plan is to stick magnets on each of these loose patrons, and then magnetize the undersides of these benches. Oh, I've only got two of that, girl. So obviously the idea being that we can magnetize them up, get them all painted, and then they can be swapped out according to scenario. So you don't have to, so it can be a little bit different for each and every one. Another random bar patron. Dwarf with a pipe. He's a massive dwarf though. So obviously Mortis stuff is all scaled for 28mm, and these are more like 32s, which is a bit of a shame, but I think it shouldn't be a big issue. Now he will need magnetite, and he's not going to sit. Generic guy. Very cool. So again, if it all goes to plan, they can all be magnetized and then swapped out. Just another generic lady. I think she's actually from the set of the seated guys, but go with a loot bard. So I'm hoping that we can obviously have some tables between them as well, so should be able to have a bit of a mix. I'm not sure if I'm going to magnetize the actual tables and chairs themselves, but I'll obviously have magnetize those sitting on them. This guy's a lot bigger. Ogre with a young elf lady. So take up a bench on his own. The same with this really cool troll getting a with a goblin trying to steal his beer. Again, I suspect this guy won't be much use to Mort's campaigns, but to be fair, can share potentially. Cool. I'll have to find a little baggie out. So we've got a little lizard man as well. Cool little skink guy. fantastic little sculpts, these things. Is that the same lady? Oh. Same lady is seated, but she comes with a chair this time. That's cool. Again, we can mix them up. Slightly different lady. And again, I don't know if I'll magnetise the bottom of these tables or not. These benches or not. Let's see. Second skink. Although these obviously bottles are easy to make, I just ordered a boatload of bottles just to, because they were literally like a penny each. They cost hardly anything, so ordered a whole load to just sort of like glue to the tables, onto a bar if I make a bar. But I'm not going to count all them. There's a whole load of bottles. Good. Again, a bit of decor. I think the one thing I didn't order was barrels, but that should be easy enough to make as well. There you go, some more bottles, but actually in little racks, so they can either sit flat or they can stand up. Again, these things cost pence, so ordered a shed load of these, which is fine. Now look, I think those are actually, they're supposed to be the tables, because this is a chair, a very, very small chair. So here's a guy, slightly different to the other ones. Yeah, that bench is too small for that chair is too small for anyone to sit on, so it's a shame. But I can stack them up, use them as little shelves. Elf eating hot dog, as you do. Great big sandwich. And that's the same guy, but without a chair. That's a shame. But he could be magnetised onto one of the benches, so that's fine. Lovely little serving wench. Yeah, nothing too amazing with these, but they're all NPC, so some nice little food on her little platter. So they'll look acceptable when painted up, because they'll be just generic. I don't know what that is though. It's like a hood. Don't know about those ones. I'll put that aside. None of these little chair things, they're going to be no good to no one. But again, so all of this stuff I've printed, it all costs like pence each. There's no, oh Jesus, should have been paying attention with that. These are cool. Tiny little goblets. See that? So again, I'll be able to glue these to tables or just stacks about. So put them over here. Another guy. Again, with these guys being so solid, they can just be scattered about wherever. Young lady with a mug. Quite cool. Big Bugmans. Or beer. Yeah, they ain't going to sit on those little stools either, so never mind. But we can share. How a magnetizer I haven't quite worked out yet. So, got a second one. I'll have to check me basket. I've got a few duplicates here, but I don't know if I'm supposed to. This one I know I ordered two of because it's like a Amazon. I play Amazons in Blood Bowl, so thought it was really cool. Very similar to how I play at Amazon's, very aggressively. Balls to the wall. Walk-ups. So again, I'm going to have more patrons than I'm going to have chairs, because the idea being that I can they'll all be magnetised and can swap them in and out according to if we need empty spaces or not. So. Found a bag. Another dwarf, very stocky dwarves. They seem very different scale to the rest. They do seem very chunky. Chunky boys. Not as a bad thing in a dwarf, but regardless, I think that's going to stand. They're going to stand out too much. I don't think they're going to be usable. Same as the lady, just without her chair. So again, she could be magnetised to sit on the chair. This is really cool. I'm going to try hiding that in somewhere. A little rat with a sliced pizza. Quite a big rat, really. Again, something that can just be pushed about and put in as decorating. Yeah, all in all, like I say, I think the whole lot, all come into it, is about 30 quid. So wasn't the end of, certainly wasn't a large expense. And I think some amazing prints here. That's again, a sign of the great quality of the STL files, and also a great quality printing. Having done some 3D printing myself, is like all of these come out really, really crisp, really clean, which is good. Yeah, so I might do some painting. I'll probably come back in this video and work out how I'm going to do magnetize everything, and I'm going to have to see if I can make some chairs, I think, because I could do with some more just scalable chairs. Yeah, back in a bit. So looking at these miniatures is and the thickness of these benches, I think the ideal way to get these guys to be magnetized on is I'm going to drill holes and put magnets on the underside, drilling in so it's almost through, because that will give a very small area. Then when I put a magnet underneath the seat of these guys, I should be able to magnetize them so they can sit on the end, in the middle, or on the end, on both sides. So here we go. What I'll do first, drill bit, is just drill what's referred to as a pilot hole. Now, theoretically, you should sit down and work out exactly where you're going to drill the holes to, but I'm going to just drill these randomly, because then they'll be in different places on each side and each bench, so that when the models are put together, they'll sit at different, they won't sit uniformly. So I'm just drilling a small hole just to show me where I think I'm going to, just in the middle of where I'm going to put the magnet to. So, and again, so you'll see these aren't uniform, nowhere near. I'm just following where the texture takes me. So now I've got a slew of small magnets, as you can see here, and a drill bit to fit them. So all I'm going to do now is drill in and just gauge it so that I don't go all the way through. Just keep drilling. You can see here. See, there are Dremels, electric drills and things like that, but I'm only doing this with the equipment I have, which hopefully everyone should have. So a good way of telling is holding it up to the light. So I think I can go a little bit deeper in that. So we haven't gone all the way through, but that's going to be the right size for the magnet. See here. So see the line where the magnets are. We can see that goes all the way in. Then to test it, I'm going to take magnets off. Hold the magnet in place. And that sticks. So that tells me that's in the right place. And what I'll do, so lining that up there, I'm also going to drill there. Again, same method. I'm going to just keep drilling until it looks like about the same depth of the magnet, because we don't want the magnet to sit proud. Nice and recessed. Yep, I'll go in there nice. So let's drill some more holes. Okay, so I'm going to get a magnet. And while that dries, I'm going to look at this magnet. So these aren't going together, but they are. So that tells me I need to glue this side into the patron. So what I would do, let's give that a wipe, make sure it's not sticky. Now it still won't be set on the inside, but this should at least mean it won't stick, because that should then go like that. One magnetised bar patron. So what I do, I'm going to glue the rest into here, and then drill some more holes and stick some magnets in. Be back in a minute. So some time has passed, and as we can see, we've got all 4 benches, 6 magnets in each, and all of the patrons have all got magnets underneath. So I've got a few of them here, but I've magnetised, but magnet in each and every one of them. Now what this means is all the patrons will sit on there magnetised. Now you could, so they can go on any combination. Generally you can only have 1 per side, because although they can just about fit, but obviously they're all magnetised, so they can be very modular. So no matter how you want a bar scene set up, it can be set up. And by once they're all painted, they can be set up differently according to what the scenario needs, or just the introduction. So you find like the big guy sit on all the places. So yeah, they're all magnetised, they can all sit on there nice. So all I've got to do is let the glue dry, and then with the rest of the tavern patrons, they can all go for an undercoat. And I'll probably do a quick sort of paint job on a couple of them, just to show sort of some techniques, but they're going to be very, very understated because they're NPCs when all said and done. So they're going to go for a spray. I'll be back in a bit. So here we go. This is how I'm going to paint these guys. Now I've got one of the tavern patrons sat on a chair here, and I'm going to show you how I paint him. But basically I'm going to paint all of the patrons in the same method and the same colours. As these are NPCs, we don't want anything too attention seeking, so I'm simply going to start with Citadel Sonda Brown for most of them, just for a dark sort of light brown colour. Then some Mornfang Brown to give it a little bit of variation, and then Deathclaw Brown for skin. Now these are all basically going to be 2 layers per colour, because a thin layer over black will give us a basic colour, and then a second layer will give us reinforcement to that colour. So this should end up with a slight bit of highlighting, even though the fact that we're only really doing the same colour twice. As you can see, I'm going to just basically, with no rhyme or reason, just keeping colours the same. So all of this guy's trousers are going to be the same colour without any trouble. And looking at it, so this is a waistcoat, so I'm going to do these in the same brown. Now theoretically, if this was like a character or something like that, I'd probably go for like a blue perhaps. Just pick the shirt out in a different color. But as we've said, like, no one's going to be paying these guys that much attention. They're only really there to sort of populate the tavern. So you see, I'm just being really quick, not really keeping it tidy, so I don't have to go back and tidy up, but not really giving it paying any mind, just quick, easy. Because obviously with so many patrons, they're going to all want a basic paint job. And again, nothing too untoward, not to stand out, to, you know, make you go, oh my god, that's amazing, so lifelike. Because I suspect these guys won't get any more game time than basically whatever it takes to set them up. So I'm trying to be neat here, because I don't want to have to spend time tidying up mistakes and cleaning up. Just literally get some colour on there. So And again, where I've mixed the two browns together, this is slightly darker, because then when I go back, I'll give it an easy highlight. It's all just really straightforward. No messing. You can already see, so I'm going to leave the boots, the undercoat, plain black. And pick out the skin in Deathclaw. You see I've got quite a lot of water here, so these paints are very thin, because this is going to aid us in highlighting. So if they go on thin, when we go over the top of them with the same colour again, that'll give us a nice more solid colour on the highlight. So effectively we're highlighting with the same colour. I have things like I'm not painting eyeballs, I'm not really paying too much time. So it's okay that this colour hasn't quite gone on solid enough, because when it dries and I put a second coat on, it will. So I mean, that was literally like a couple of minutes, and that would be perfectly acceptable. But I'm going to go back over. So if we look at the colour here, we're going back over, same colour, but the pigment reinforces. So I've effectively painted up to where the edges are, where your highlights would be, leaving the thinner coat, the thinner darker coat, to effectively give us a highlight without actually having to spend time mixing paints and finding shades. It's literally the same colour, just reinforcing the colour to make it look like we've spent a bit more time and effort than we actually have. Using the same theory, back to Mornfang. There. And we just pick out the skin again. Now this should be a bit more obvious. So we can see the colour there. Same shade, same thickness, but where it's going over the previous colour instead of the black. That'll give us the hint of highlighting, just because the pigment's reinforced. So there. Like I say, won't win any awards, won't doesn't look amazing, but it's an NPC. It's going to be sat amongst however many extra fit in the tavern, just to give a bit of background. So I'm going to go do, so that's taken what, 4 or 5 minutes? I'm going to go back and do exactly the same on all the rest of them, and I'll be back in a minute to show you what they look like. Okay, so here we are. I've gone through and painted all the minis in the same method that we've just seen, just same sort of colours. although you might see some of the skin tones I changed up a bit by throwing in some Cadian flesh tone. But although it's quite a limited palette, they still give some individuality there. So seeing them as a group, although it's all browns, is you can still see, you know, some character. And you can see here where I've got the miniatures on the chairs and them separate, is I've inverted the colours so that even when they're sat together, they should still look different. Thought I'd just have a quick look. So I've also, the benches we've magnetised have been done with the same browns. Started with Thunder Brown and then dry brushed with Mornfang. And we can see here, so this is why we've magnetised on the underside, so we can't see them from above. Threw in some silver for the mugs, just to, again, help them stand out. But we can see, hopefully, if it can focus. So again, they're not brilliant paint jobs, they're just very basic, two layers per colour. And making sure to break them up a bit so they're not all continual colours. And again, I have thrown in a little bit of extra here and there, just where appropriate, but not too much, because things like I haven't painted the eyes, because yeah, these are all NPCs not worth the effort. So looking at these two, for example, exactly the same colours. Exactly same colours, but in different combinations. So they, yeah, will work well. Note, obviously the ogre was still done in the same colours, with his bit of arm candy. Just a little bit extra detail there, but not too much. We can see, so this is the basic black undercoat on the belt, rather than having to repaint. And I really like this piece. Just a little, same colours, Thondra, and then Mornfang. Pizza was done with Rakarth flesh, and then yellow over the top and a bit of red. Same with the eyes. Nice little piece that will just be thrown down and could be tucked into a corner somewhere. Yeah. Now obviously we've got the ability to just magnetise them as we like. So they can all sit anywhere on these benches. Yeah. So they're all done. I might give them all a quick varnish. I don't know if Mort will go back and tidy up the paints, because they are very basic, but it all depends on what he wants for his NPCs. But I am happy to call these done. I've got the 2 wet bar staff to paint, but I'll be doing them separately because I've got to try and decide if I'm going to follow the same scheme for these or do something a little bit lighter as benefits the bar staff. But as far as I'm concerned, the patrons are all now done. Thanks for watching and have fun.